Welcome to the guide for the playable character Larson or Larson in the new Spy vs Spy PvP game Deceive Inc. I'm BlackTalon. Let's skip the intros and get right to what you came here for. So to give an overview, Larson is categorized as a scoundrel character. Scoundrels are sly, cunning, and use dirty tricks to get ahead of the competition. This definitely describes Larson, which in English means larceny or theft of personal property. This gentleman thief uses invisibility to both confuse his enemies and get the upper hand, as well as make his great escapes. He also has a clever passive ability that lets him steal items from other rivals on the sly. This can even include stealing the case itself from a rival trying to make a getaway. Larson is a great character, especially for those who are just starting out in the game, as he takes little practice and few gadgets to really maximize his potential. He can also fit both aggressive and passive playstyles. Let's get into more details of this character build, starting with his expertise or active ability. Now there are 3 different variations of this ability. First, Larson has his adieu ability, or goodbye, bonus points to anyone who knows French. Larson will instantly vanish and become invisible and be invulnerable to both damage and traps while he escapes or repositions. This is an awesome ability because it can be used both offensively and defensively. You may need to use it to make a quick escape in a sticky situation, or you may use it to get a surprise angle on a rival that you are currently battling with to get the upper hand. You might even find some clever ways to do this. For example, you might run in one direction as you vanish, but you go into a different direction once you are invisible. Additionally, any allies around you will be amped up, meaning they will gain a speed buff, allowing them to close in on an enemy or make their sweet escape as well. Bear in mind, however, while you are invisible, you cannot interact with items, use gadgets, hack safes, or unlock any doors that are not already open to you. His second variation is Grand Finale. Instead of taking invisibility with you, you create a zone that will allow you and your allies inside to remain undetected. This is great for locking down a room to take down your enemies or escaping with an unknown path. His last variation is Tour du Monde, or Around the World. Fittingly, this variation is much like the first, however you will also gain the amped up speed buff to go even further in your cloak. However, this comes with a catch. Enemies will be able to see a trail of smoke that marks you wherever you are moving. This can really be a great ability still, because you might use it to get some distance from your rivals without being able to take damage. You may also use it to run up on a fleeing enemy to quickly steal something valuable from them if you don't intend to stick around for the fight. Now let's talk about his weaponry. Larson is equipped with a throwable pistol, Silence, that has a very high fire rate and reload speed. This will really let you get the upper hand if you initiate a battle, as you will be able to land all or the majority of your shots before they can react. The same is true if you vanish and reappear to repeat the process. His second variation of this, Cadence, is similar but with a 2-burst round type fire that will be very useful if you have a good lined up shot and you can get multiple hits in before the target moves. His last variation, Violence, is similar to his other weapons, but this one has a bladed edge for throwing your weapon at the end of your magazine, and this will result in more additional damage compared to the other 2. All of these weapons are effective at close range, and something that they all share in common is that at the end of the magazine, Larson will actually throw his weapon, causing additional damage before he reloads. Moreover, Larson is a close-ranged character, so you'll really want to be close to your enemies when you engage them. Now let's get into Larson's passive ability variations. His first variation is Merci beaucoup, or Thank you very much. Indeed, this passive allows Larson to steal an item from a rival by meleeing them. This will automatically take the most valuable item that they have, which can even include taking the case right out of the hands of a rival. If your enemy, however, has nothing to steal, you will take intel from them instead. Let's look at his second variation here, Souffle douleur, or Punching Bag. Fittingly, when Larson hits an enemy and blows their cover, they will drop the most valuable item that they have. Oftentimes, they won't even notice that they dropped something as they try to escape, so you might just tag them from a distance and wait for them to leave so you can go retrieve the loot that they dropped. His final passive, Pickpocket, is similar to his first. However, his melee attack will not do damage and will not break the enemy's cover while you are in cover, so they will not automatically be looking for you. However, they will be notified that something is missing, so be wary as they look around for the culprit. Now let's talk about gadgets for Larson. Now as far as gadgets go, there are an array of gadgets to choose from, and ultimately the right gadgets that you pick depend on your playstyle and how you want to engage or work a map. So don't feel that my suggestions are the best. Really, you can pick whatever you like based on your preference. Now for Larson specifically, he is quite self-sufficient without gadgets, so there really isn't a ton of build-specific gadgets that you need. But some gadgets that might be useful to you are ones like Mimic and Bounce Mat that can really help you get away or scale a map after you reappear from being vanished. Or you might use the recon drone to tag someone who you know is a player so you can track them and steal something that they have. Bullet Umbrella can also be useful to you if you find yourself in a lot of fights. But again, for Larson, much of what you use has to do with your preference and playstyle. Now let's talk about field upgrades. Now, similar to gadgets, the field upgrades that you choose are really based on your playstyle and the map and how you want to actually play the game. So these are the field upgrades that I use. However, you don't have to feel obligated to use what I use just based on my playstyle. Really, it's based on how you want to play the game that will decide the field upgrades that are best for you. For example, if you're looking to secure the case and extract with little difficulties, I would recommend using your gold slot for expertise cooldown. This will allow you to go invisible more often throughout the game. And if you're able to hack a terminal early, you should be in a good position for most of the match, as you'll be able to go invisible more often. You can also opt for more health in one of your higher slots if you want to be able to survive longer in different skirmishes. Additionally, you may even want to give attention to cover cooldown or even ammo if you need it. Now what about some additional tips that can help you when you're playing Larson? Well, one thing to keep in mind is the amount of ammo you have left at any given moment. At the end of the magazine, Larson will automatically throw his weapon at his enemy. Sometimes when we run out of ammo, we might stray our vision a little bit and move side to side, and then we could waste throwing our weapon into thin air. So if you keep an eye on how many shots you have left, you can be prepared for when he will throw it and aim properly to get that extra damage. Also, Larson is a tall, thin character, so don't underestimate how useful jumping and strafing can be to protect yourself. One more tip is that your invisibility cooldown can take some time to come back in the beginning, so make sure that you use it at a good moment where you can either escape or really capitalize on your enemy. Otherwise, you'll run out of your invisibility and be left with a tough situation. That's all I have for Larson. Give the video a like if you find this helpful, subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Typically, as part of my main videos, I always shout out a smaller channel to help them grow and get exposure. If you believe in my cause, please support the channel by making a bigger platform for those who put their heart and soul into content and just need a little bit more help to succeed. But thank you for watching, I bid you adieu, and I will see you next time.